This is the Level Up Podcast. I'm Taylor Petrinovich.
And I'm Kelley Gilster of 618 Studios.
And we are on a mission to help wedding filmmakers and photographers level up their businesses so you can make more and work less.
We want to help you confidently take your business from mainstream to luxury, and it all starts right here.
Hey friends, and welcome to another episode of the Level Up Podcast. I'm your host, Taylor Petrinovich, joined as always by my co-host, Kelley Gilster.
Hello, everybody. Taylor, another Tuesday together. How are you?
I'm great. You guys, I hope you're enjoying this debrief series. Last week, we talked about one of my weddings this fall season, and this week we're turning it on Kelley because she's had some cool ones recently. And first up in the queue for Kelley's wedding debriefs is her Hawaii wedding that she had just recently. We're recording this a little bit like not in real time, so it feels more recent than probably what you guys are listening to. So you might have to scroll back on our grid if you want to check out that teaser. But it was a beautiful wedding in Maui. And there's a lot to be kind of talked about with logistics, with travel, maybe even like how you got this booking. I know this was a legacy client for you, lots of little nitty gritty things. So can we take it all the way back to the beginning for this wedding? When did you book it? How did that come about?
Yeah, so I booked this in March of 2025, and it was a September wedding. So actually, it was a very popular date. I had 3 people interested at the same time for that date, which is like first world problems, I understand. But actually, Taylor, we were together. Taylor and I are rarely together, but we were actually together at Kinetic at the time, and I was really navigating, do I take this date? Do I do this date? Do I do this one? And you were like, I think this should be your first choice. This should be your second choice. This one's kind of your third choice. It was like either a wedding in Santa Barbara with a great team. So I was like, that was very, I don't know, like
Appealing
to me. Yes. But then, as you know, 618 is such like a family focused legacy brand. And this was a legacy client and a planner that I have a great relationship with, and the photographer. We have a great relationship as well. So it was a hard choice. And then we kind of had a third option of an outlier. It was just a couple that had reached out in Charleston. And I thought it was going to be one of those things where I sent over the collections and they realized that maybe they didn't quite have like the funds. I think they had told me what their budget was, and like including travel out to Charleston, I was already seeing that we were going to be outside of their budget. But they actually came back and was like, actually, like, would you be available? But I was already in talks with these other 2. Anyways, long story long, we ended up getting this Maui one, going with this one. And I'm so happy that we did, because travel is something I really want more destination work on my portfolio. It's a gap that I needed to fill in 2025. And I'm so happy that it's actually happening and we're doing that.
Yeah, so fun. So this is something that we talk about heavily with our mastermind students. We have a whole planner relationship week, and I break out a Punnett square, taking us back to high school biology. And it's very much so like, if this person inquires first for a wedding date and then this person inquires second, how do you navigate that? And it's very different when it's like a planner versus a planner, a client versus a planner, like all the different scenarios, you would handle it differently. And so it was fun to see you do the Punnett square in real time, but with 3 options. And I do remember that we were in Santa Barbara at our hotel. We stayed at the Drift Hotel, and I remember sitting at like in their little coffee shop at the long table, and like us like kind of going over this. It was very fun. Okay, so you had it booked. This is remind me
March.
And tell the listeners, this is a bride you shot her wedding like 7 years ago, and it's her sister.
Yes.
Getting now, right? Okay.
Yeah. So we did her sister's wedding in 2019 in Santa Barbara. And we were originally brought on for that one because we had a relationship with the planner and with the photographer too. But primarily the planner was the one that was like, I see you as a really great fit for this. And I can get more into that later too, on like why she does like pitch us for certain ones. And this family is a very close-knit family, really, really sweet, kind family. And so Yeah, it was a great fit. And we loved the family loved us. And so when their second daughter got engaged and, set a date and they decided on Maui, we were like one of the very initial emails of like, I really want you guys to be on this one. And so, yeah, so we put together a proposal for this. We sent it off. They ended up booking. And the photographer, Brandon Kidd, had already been booked on this job as well. And so he was also like, I really want you to do this one. Like, even though we had other interest in the date, we were like, we'll see, let's see what happens. And then it ended up working out. So we hadn't been back to Maui since our honeymoon. So it had been like 15 years. That was also like a fun just thing to do. And I feel like having young kids, like destination work comes with some of obviously challenging to like align the childcare for the kids, but like once you're there, it's almost like a mini vacation for us. So I feel like we found a newfound love for destination work in this season of life that we're in. And so we're just really heavily pushing more and more of it.
Actually, this is a great point. We've never really talked about this on the podcast. How does childcare normally work for you for multi-day events? You
Yes.
have three kids.
So I went to dinner with a friend last night and she was asking me the same thing. And I was like, if it's a local event, depending on like where our parents are all retired. So they're like kind of doing their own things. They have vacation spots that they like to go to for the length of the summer. And so this was the first year where both sets of parents were doing that. And so basically when I have these dates on my calendar and we have like typically months in advance, we can kind of see who's available for which ones, and that might look like flying them down. So that's something that I also kind of have to take into consideration when I'm putting together proposals for like 2026. So if I were to get an inquiry for the second week in July 2026, I would know, and it was a destination event, I would need to also factor in the fact that I would be flying a grandparent home from either Oregon or Montana where they spend their time. And I factor that into my proposal. So I can it's challenging, but at least we have enough lead time to be prepared. And they're very consistent in their travel plans for the most part. So we can be prepared on that side too.
And they just stay at your house and like keep the kids flow up.
Yes, yeah. And now the kids flow is becoming more and more. I mean, there's gymnastics, there's swimming, there's soccer, there's school, there's birthday parties on the weekends that the kids are invited to. Micah's wanting to get involved into Boy Scouts. Like our kids love being in lots of activities, and I'm here for it. But it means now that what it used to look like was like them getting the kids or us driving down to San Diego to drop them off and them just staying down there. But now that they have like their own little lives up here in Orange County, it means for the grandparents to just stay at our house.
Yeah, it's great to have that family support. And my heart goes out to the wedding creatives out there who want to do destination work and they just maybe don't have that support system. And just know, like, we're not doing it on our own. Like, we have help, and that's the only way we can do it. So I think it's really important to like know that and to like know the realities of it. That's how it works, like behind the curtain and everything. Okay, so we got childcare settled. Let's talk about travel. I think that for people who are wanting to get into destination work, but the whole travel element feels a little intimidating, whether it be flying with gear or what you're doing on the other end with rental cars and things like that. Like it can feel like a lot. So just walk us through how some of the logistics looked like.
Yeah, so with travel, I'm typically booking flights about 7 weeks out. Of course, when I'm putting together the proposal, I'm looking at what the flights could be. So I'm like looking at that weekend when we'd be flying in. This was a wedding where surprisingly enough, they didn't hire us for like rehearsal dinner or like welcome party. It was a very intimate 35-person wedding. So the photographer was hired for that Friday coverage, but we weren't. I've found that when it comes to these like legacy returning clients, they're 90% of the time just going to mirror what their other like sibling had, or like the parents are just going to like kind of rinse and repeat the coverage that they had for that first sibling. So and vice versa, like sometimes like with some of these more like these legacy clients that we've done in the last couple of years. We've actually had one where we did the son's wedding last year, and then we did the daughter's wedding like 11 months later, and they both did 3 days of coverage because like that's what they did for their first wedding. And so yeah, they're just rinsing, repeating. And so it was just wedding day, but we did fly in on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? No, was
I
it?
think Thursday. I think you flew
Okay.
Thursday.
It's like, yeah.
Hmm.
So we flew in Thursday. It's so great because when you're flying west, you gain that time. So I felt like we got like a full little day to like kind of settle and get things together. And then we had all day Friday to hang out. But I mean, we're still working. Like, I'm still looking for opportunities to just shoot like B-roll coverage, pop the drone up and fly, be able to like get more of that sense of place through the film. And even like I did something too that I loved. In the morning where we were staying, around like 8 a.m. in those morning hours, all these like birds would just come and like chirp and chat with each other. And it just felt so like Hawaii to me, like quintessential Hawaii, and even like with the waves crashing. And so I actually took our like little Audio Technica microphone and our Zoom H6n, and I went out there with my headphones and I just recorded like ambient sounds of Maui to be able. And if you watch the teaser, if you hear that drone shot, that very first shot, you'll hear these birds, and those were actually the birds that I had captured on those off days of the wedding day. And so even though we're not really hired, it's not really hours that we have been contracted for. I think that we're just really trying to do our best to put our best foot forward and like work outside of those hours too. And so yeah, like and going out there with like my Super 8 camera and kind of playing around and like just shooting shots of palm trees and beaches and things like that. So it's really all immersive. And so that's what I love about destination work too, is that it's not just you like showing up, walking through the lobby, getting to the bride's hotel room. Like you really get to shoot all of the scenery. I feel like my artist is really coming through right now.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm like for sure this is artist Kelley that we're getting. Okay, let's dial it back because we actually pushed out some Instagram content
Yeah.
through some of your travels, and this is actually a wedding that you did in Carmel that I'm referring to, but the same things would apply for you going to Maui. We put out a reel, well, a couple of reels, and one of them was like kind of poking fun at like the differences in traveling with gear as a videographer and like all of our mountains of gear versus a photographer. So that's the first one. And then you did like a little like travel vlog, like flying in to shoot a wedding, and you put like lots of great tips in the caption for
Yeah.
traveling with gear. Like, can we just chat through like some of those like little tips that you have?
Yeah. So, one of the biggest things is there are some parts I will be totally transparent that Paul and I just choose to do out of convenience. It's not something that we charge our client for on the back end of things or whatever. So, for example, if we decided, we're allocating $1,500 for travel and we're looking at, say, maybe that would include a hotel room that was more like $250 a night. Let's say we get in there to actually book and we're like, actually, like, let's treat ourselves a little bit. Like, we're going to book like a hotel. This looks really fun. Let's make the most of it. Let's book a hotel that's maybe more in that $350 per night like territory. Like, we'll just go ahead and make that and like use it as obviously a write off for us, whatever, but we're not going to build a client for that. And other little things too, like when it comes to like parking at the airport and stuff. Like we chose to valet. We had heard like great things from another photographer about like valeting, and Paul did like ran the math on it, and he's like, okay, that you could either park at this parking lot like way, 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 way away, and we'd have to haul all of our bags like hundreds of feet to the front of the airport, and that's like $20 a day. Or you could park in the closer parking lot and it's $30 a day, or you can valet and it's $35 a day and they wash your car at the same time. We're like,
Oh, and
that's
they
worth
wash
it.
your car? What?
Yeah.
Oh.
You can like sign up. I guess Paul could like you can check a box of like, do you want us to wash your car? And we're like, absolutely, yes. And so you show up and you're right at the front and they help you with your bags out and they wash your car and it's great. So like things like that are like just choices that we're making because I think that it's so important to, if you're looking to create like longevity and like not get a sour taste in your mouth about destination work, like you can't just like bare bones it. I'm big on that. Like Taylor, remember when I was like, Taylor, you absolutely need to get TSA pre-check. What are you doing? Like, what are you
You
doing?
were like, you're raw dogging your travel.
I wasn't gonna say it on the podcast, but yes, I was saying that. I'm like, why are you raw dogging it in just regular like TSA?
TSA PreCheck is a game changer. Oh my gosh. It's actually so great if you're traveling with kids too, because they can just come, they don't need to be TSA pre-checked, but you just bring them along and all the same rules apply. They don't have to take the iPads out of the backpack. They don't have to take their shoes off. Like it's so much faster and just more convenient. I have like some anxiety about flying with my laptop, like because if you don't have TSA pre-check, you have to take it out and it has to
Yeah,
be in its own little bin, and
yeah.
I'm so scared someone's going to steal it. So something I always do is like I always shove all of my bags through the thing first and my laptop is last, like hoping that like I'm already waiting on the other end of the conveyor belt like when it pops out. But yeah, with TSA PreCheck, like there's no need to worry.
Don't have to take it out of the bag, don't have to take your shoes off. It's easy. And I mean, even taking this a step further, I mean, if you want to do clear, that's great too. It's even easier. Global entry, if you're doing a lot of like destination work, we don't have that, but if you better bet if we were doing like if we were going out of the country like 4 or 5 times a year, we would definitely look into that because there's just something about it being that easy button push for you where you don't even like have to think about it and it's so simple. The other thing that we talked about was that we printed off these media badges. So these media badges, and I'll talk about what that is because a lot of questions came from like, tell me more about these media badges. And so it's like a media pass. We made them like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And so what it does is it allows you to not have to pay for the bags that exceed 50 pounds. You still have to pay for like the baggage fee, but you don't have to pay like the extra $100 or like whatever crazy amount it is. And we have one bag. It's like our large like production roller that has like light stands, tripods, things like that. And so that one is always like 77 pounds. And so we can just like show them our badges. The only airline it doesn't work for actually is Hawaiian, which we like learned the hard way. So we paid a lot in baggage over to Hawaii, which was kind of an unforeseen expense, but you know, we just ate that.
Yeah. Actually, this may be a silly question. For that production bag, are all of your like tripods and light stands just like rattling around in there, or are they strapped down to like the sides of the bags? Like, how does that look inside?
Ooh, okay. This is why everybody needs a Paul. He does all of that stuff. But he will like put some like bubble wrap and like stuff
Mm.
on things. He even like our lights that we have when it comes to us flying and traveling, he puts bubble wrap around those too. So he puts a little bit extra like care and precaution into when it's going underneath the plane. So basically what we're traveling with is a backpack that Paul carries on with all of our lenses and camera bodies and like other random stuff. And then we have our roller think tank, which has like our 7200s. I'm actually like looking, if you're on YouTube, I'm actually like looking down at it because it's like right here by my feet. Has like our zooms, our audio equipment, a couple different like light type of things, all of our like cords, all that stuff. So I'll roll that on too. And then I bring my Ona, that'll have like my laptop in it and like some other various stuff. And then we'll have like a suitcase. Oh, Paul's Ronin. It has like its own little case, which we could probably like condense better, but it just has its own little Pelican case and Paul carries that on. And then we have then our bag that's like our clothes. And I think our drone goes into that one too. So yeah, so we'll travel with, I think that's 5 bags. 4 get carried on and 2 get checked. So 6.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a lot. we
It's a
we have a
lot.
lot of stuff.
Well, another friend in the comments was like, "Oh my gosh, like we split up all of our gear so that we can like condense the bags." And we used to do that in the early days. Like we would take apart the tripod heads from the tripods and like disperse it all. But like what I found is like then when you show up to a wedding day, like you're just like holding all these tripods and like it just like you don't really have like the bag that it would normally go in to have it be like as seamless of a process on the wedding day. And it was just honestly a huge pain in the butt to like do all this stuff. And we have like zero time with these young kids, like to be rearranging like our workflow of bags. So we're just like, whatever. We found what works for us. We put air tags in all of our bags. We just started doing that last year. Actually, I don't know why it didn't take us that long. So we put air tags in all the bags so we know where they are. A lot of times, like we've had before, we went to Colorado for an event and we landed, and a lot of times because of the air tags, like we're like, well, that bag never made it to California. And so we're like walking up to like the baggage people and we're like, our bag didn't make it. And they're like, well, we don't know that. We don't have like a thing yet. I'm like, showing the phone. Like if you're watching on YouTube, I'm like holding up like a phone, being like, the bag is in, according to my air tag, the bag is still in Aspen.
No, that's so smart. Actually, when we go to Disneyland, I bought these little like bracelets that hold an air tag and I air tag my children.
Nice. So smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So logistics are taken care of. It's honestly like once you do it a couple times, it's like not that big of a deal. But I think the takeaway is do it in a way that feels sustainable for you and that you're
Yeah.
not going to be ripping your hair out of frustration,
Mm-hmm.
making you feel burnt out. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
the takeaway. Um, okay, so I know that there was like some interesting stuff with this wedding as far as weather.
Yeah.
Want to talk about that?
Yeah, it was challenging. It was so windy. Probably top two most windiest ceremonies we've ever done. Like the trade winds came in like from like at the island and like hit literally like right at ceremony time. It was wild. And so if you guys are not using Adobe Podcast, like for your like it's kind of like an AI software thing that will like clean up the audio. It is so incredible. And I've used it many times, but like I've never been more sold than I am now because that audio was horrific. There was just nothing we could do about it. I mean, we're talking like 25-mile-an-hour winds. Like there was nothing we could do. And we mic up the groom, we mic up the officiant, we're going through the board, we're putting in our best efforts, but like sometimes the weather just has it up against you. And I ran it through Adobe Podcast and it was so crystal clean and clear and like saved us. I'm so amazed. I'm glad that we have that resource now here in 2025. But if you're not using it, definitely don't sleep on Adobe Podcast. The enhanced speech is what it's called. So that was challenging. I know that like the planner, like she had these cool light fixtures that sat over like the table. So they did like individual structures over each table. And she had these cool like hanging pendants, but they were pretty lightweight and they were just getting like rattled around and like kind of beaten up. So we did our best. And I think the client just like understood it was what it was. And Maui was such a special place for them. Like it was when I asked them, they asked if they could do a consultation with us a couple weeks before the wedding. And one of the things I asked was like, why Maui? Like, it's a unique destination for you guys that they live in Colorado, but they grew up in she grew up in California. And so yeah, they were like, yeah, it's just a really special place for us and a place that we grew up going to each as kids, vacationing, and then we kind of like adopted it into our relationship as a place that we celebrated birthdays there and big milestones and things like that. So they were just happy to be there. And of course, like Taylor, when you land in Maui, it's like it's just like you're a calmer version of yourself.
I love Maui. Yeah, we went as a family like last November, and it's so fun. Actually, if you ever go to Maui, travel hack, stop at the Costco that's like not too far from the airport on your way in to wherever you're staying and load up on all the stuff you need. Like I mean, especially when you're traveling with kids and stuff, like you need little breakfast items and snacks. And even if you're shooting a wedding, you probably want some like power bars and like, I don't know, like energy drinks or something. And I just think it's like so convenient.
So
um,
convenient. Yeah.
so
So,
good.
oh, one other travel hack too that was like a big thing that people, if you didn't watch that reel, is that we have been very committed to like Hertz as our rental car situation, primarily because of their like gold member program. And it's free. So you just like go on Hertz, you sign up for their gold membership, and it allows you to skip the line every single time. So we get off the flight, all those like rental car lines that are horrific and like no one wants to start their vacation like that, let alone like a work trip. And so we just like walk past them all. You go up, there's a board that's like gold members for Hertz. You look at your name, it tells you like which stall your car is in, and you just walk right there and then get the keys are waiting for you in the car and you just like leave. It saves so much time.
Is that something you have to pay like an annual membership?
No, it's free. Totally free.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's really good to know. I do bounce between Enterprise and Hertz, but that might just now sell me on sticking to one.
Yeah, and I mean some smaller airports don't have that like marquee board. So like I think we've kind of learned like Jackson, Wyoming, like they're not going to have that. It's such a tiny little airport. Like the smaller airports, but like I would say probably like 80% of airports have that. I know that Hertz is like probably a more expensive option than when it comes to rental car, but it's so worth it for us. Like another thing, it's just one of those things that we're creating longevity. We're like looking for like small areas that like eliminate any sort of form of burnout, and that's just one of them. So we'll like always be booking with Hertz on that. And then where we stayed, I think, oh, this is a great, I think, point to bring up. I think a lot of people, um, they think that like we're always staying on property at the resort where the clients are. And that's really not the case. Of course, there's a lot of benefits to staying on property. For one, like the properties that our clients are getting married at are extremely gorgeous. But this was a Four Seasons, and it just was not in the budget for us to be staying like $1,200 a night at this hotel. And so we're very rarely staying at the same hotel where the clients are staying. It's not something are that we require. So we stayed at like a condo that I found like offsite over in Kihei, which was just about like a 10-minute drive to Wailea. It was so much more
Yeah.
reasonable.
It's true. Especially like when you start talking to people not in the wedding industry, like my family members love to be like, I bet the food is so good. And I'm like, we're not eating what our clients are eating and like the guests are eating. Like, and they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, no, we're not sitting down for like a 5 course meal like while we're working.
Yeah.
Um, okay. So we had talked about travel, logistics, your little artistry. Um, Anything else we didn't touch on that you thought would be kind of fun to debrief?
Yeah, I think too, like, and this is something that we talk about with our mastermind students, is that it's so important to be taking your Instagram followers on the journey of what you're doing. So that's also big for me too, like having little hints of like bringing people along on stories, like a little morning walk on the beach where I'm at, or like giving them a sense that like you really have to paint a picture for people to realize like what it is that you do. So like it's going to take many more times for people to realize like you're a destination photographer or you're a destination videographer, and people constantly need to be reminded, and with the algorithm it does us no favors as far as like who's actually seeing your content. And so it's just one of those things where I think that it didn't really stick with me until probably a couple of years ago, where I was like, oh, I should be showing people that I'm like being flown out to this beautiful location to do this, and like showcasing the process, and flying out there and being there and flying home and like all that stuff. So it's really been something that I've been leaning on a lot more in the last 2 years. Never assuming that people just like know all about what you do or like your business or things like that.
Yeah, such a great point. Like Instagram is a marketing tool and like of course we need to be discerning on like what we're sharing, but
Yeah.
when it's helpful to your business goals, like share away. I also think that you can sit on content for a little while too. I actually don't think you have to post in real time. So like if
Yeah.
you captured, iPhone stuff for yourself, but forgot to post or got wrapped up in the moment or whatever, and it was a few weeks or even a month ago, I think like you can still post it. So like there's some like time forgiveness there.
Right.
I see a lot of people like post not like I know they like already did that one a while ago and like they're just now posting it, but like to your point, people are not like paying that close of attention, so like no one's gonna really know. And it
Yeah,
still happens. It's not like it's lying.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah. Like I know Julia Kentner like doesn't post in the moment, but I still like following along with her stuff.
Yeah. It's so fun. And so it's so much more than just every other wedding day. We're approaching it just slightly differently. And especially because, like I said earlier in this episode, destination work was a gap that we needed filled in our portfolio that I recognized. And so I really treat those ones so much differently. And so yeah, so we're excited for like what that will yield for like 2026. I would say 50% of our weddings this year were destination, like outside of our local market. And so I'm really proud of that. It was something that I was working on in 2024 to ensure that this would be the case for 2025. So if you're sitting here thinking like, hey, like I want to shoot destination work. It may not happen overnight. It may be something that needs to be a long-term strategy goal. And Taylor and I generally say, like, when you start to implement new systems, it typically starts to take 18 months for your business to take full form and like new shape. And so, of course, you get like small wins along the way, but for your brand to be in a totally different place than it was 18 months ago, that's about the time frame that it'll take, just with the nature of our businesses and like how weddings work with bookings and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is such a side tangent. And if you're watching on YouTube, then you'll be like, yeah, your top is so cute. Where is it from?
Oh, Abercrombie.
It is?
Yeah. It's like a
Is it,
little
did you get it recently or a while ago?
a while ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
because I want to get it.
I know. Maybe they'll have it. It's like such a good like thick fabric and I love it. It is very like cropped though, so you have to wear like very like high-waisted jeans with them. Um but if anyone's following like my journey post baby, as you know, this is 2025 was my glow up year. 2024 was Taylor's glow up year after having her last baby, and I'm like 6 pounds away from my goal weight. So maybe it's just looking cuter because I've had it for a while, but maybe it's looking cuter because I've lost some weight.
No, I mean you look great, but it's genuinely a really cute top too.
Thank you. I
But
could
it is fun.
totally see this feels on brand for Taylor for sure.
I love it. I love it so much. Actually, like I feel like we're both like in our like preppy little era with what we're
Yeah.
wearing. This is Abercrombie too, but I like yours
Oh.
better.
Cute. We're big fans
Cute.
of Abercrombie. If anyone ever needs like better wedding day attire for ladies, don't forget about Abercrombie. They have such great dresses or like skirts and little tops and things like that.
Yeah, I've been rocking my Nuuly subscription, like Nuuly, for those of you not
Mhm.
familiar, since January. And actually, maybe I'll try to ask Cassie to pop a picture. And so last week, our debrief episode, I wore a dress that I got from Nuuly, and I got so many compliments, like
Nice.
so many compliments. The mother of the bride, multiple bridesmaids, and then the mother of the groom was like, "This looks so close to like the dress I wore last night for the welcome party," and like struck up conversation like about the outfit. It was just like it was like down the sleeve like this. And then it was like the black lace on top of like a beige fabric, but then had buttons, like gold buttons, like all down the front. So like very different compared to like what a lot of like vendors will wear, like this black dress. Anyway, it's fine. Like feel free to like get something different. I think it's, I don't know.
Yeah.
If
Are you
nothing
gonna
else,
buy
it's a
that one
combo.
then? You should buy
I
it.
I kind of want to, but the buttons are gold and then they have like a black circle in the middle. So it's like gold button with like a black circle. And I was looking at it the other day and like three of those are like missing, like the black piece is
Oh,
missing. So I don't know if I want to buy it if it's like not
in good
like
shape.
in good shape. Yeah.
Hmm.
But it
Dang.
yeah, it might be worth it because I do think it's pretty inexpensive to buy something from Newly. Like I think it would be like $50. Like that might be worth it actually. I can get
Yeah.
like a Sharpie and just like color it in or something.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I'm trying to think if there's any other tips on my travel stuff. Yeah, all in all, like we are not billing for travel on the back end for the client. Absolutely not at this level. We could go farther, but we talk about that etiquette wise within Mastermind. But yeah, it's everything that's all baked in the front, and then we just decide on our end what we want to splurge on. So, yeah, it's so important to find those little things that like you determine are like a creative suck for you or just like something that like really bothers you and stresses you out. And Paul and I we did so many things in those beginning years when we did not have like the funds really to be traveling or like our clientele didn't really have as much allocated towards travel for us. So we really had to like go bare bones on things. Like I remember like trying to fight our way in boarding class C at in Southwest, like trying to hope to get those bags on because we didn't want to pay for boarding group A. But now it's like if we're flying Southwest, like we're paying for boarding group A every single time. Like no ifs, ands, or buts.
It's $30. Yeah. I think that's $30 well spent.
Yeah, for the peace of mind and all that. Also, this is going to sound like a very bougie, but at the time of recording, we're actually going to be flying out tomorrow to Houston, and we're actually going to be flying first class. And um, we, yes, I know Taylor's eyes were like, what? Here's the deal. When it comes to like us looking at stuff, and we've only ever flown first class for work. Actually, never. This is our first time. We'd flown first class once we got like complimentary upgraded, like a flight from Seattle on just like a leisure trip. Or maybe we were flying home from a wedding. I don't remember. Seattle down to Orange County. And then one time we flew first class to Montana for like a leisure trip. But it's actually because I'm never gonna book anymore. Similar to like paying for the boarding group A and Southwest, like if I'm flying Delta, Alaska, whatever, I'm never gonna book like the basic fare because you don't get priority boarding. And so like the likelihood of your carry-ons not making it on the plane and you having to like gate check them are pretty high. And so I'm always gonna do like the next level up when it comes to like priority boarding. You get to choose your seats, all that stuff. Paul and I also like hack. We always like when we choose our seats, we choose like 2 aisle seats like in the same row. So like we always get like aisle, but not like no one's getting the middle or whatever. But anyways, so sometimes, and actually I'll shout out Rich Lander, Charred Photo. He told us to like keep an eye out for this. He's like, sometimes it's not that much more because first class includes free checked bags. So if you're running like the numbers on things and you're already going to be booking more of that like middle tier of your flight, look at like what the cost difference would be based on what it's going to cost you in baggage, like to and from. And it may not be that much more, like $70 more to fly first class. And so I started doing that, and it doesn't always work out. Sometimes first class is just like crazy expensive. But for whatever reason, this flight from LAX to Houston, first class was very reasonable. And so I was like, cool, let's end our wedding season with a bang and like fly first class.
And then maybe get like a little glass of champagne on there.
You do. And Paul
Yeah.
actually, before we started recording, he's like, hey, I got a thing from, I think we're flying United. And he's like, we get to choose our meals. So, like, choose what you want for dinner. I'm like, how fun.
That is fun. I've flown first class once and it was the same thing. Like we got randomly upgraded on our honeymoon. So we
Fun.
had our honeymoon in the Dominican Republic. So we had to fly from
Wow.
the West Coast out to the East Coast and then like a little plane down. And so I want to say we flew into Florida. So with
Okay.
that long flight, we got first class,
Wow.
which is really nice
That's
for
really
free.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cause when I've flown first class, like that one from like Seattle down to Orange County, I'm like, I don't want this to end. This is so nice. I wish it was a longer flight so I can like fully enjoy it.
Yeah. I feel like, so actually, this is something that people always find shocking. I've never been to Europe, not a single time. But I want to say, like, I will eventually go. I'm trying to like rally for a Italy trip soon, but I think we would just like be bougie, like for that long haul flight. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think we would.
I sent
So
out a
I'll report back.
proposal recently for Venice, and now we're just chit-chatting. Guys, I hope you're still like following along and listening, but now you're basically sitting in on a conversation, like a phone call with me and Taylor. So, we sent out a proposal for Venice a few weeks ago, and Paul was like, "What are like flights looking like?" And I'm like, "Honestly, so reasonable. Like LA to Venice is like 600 round trip." And he's like, "Yeah, but you're not going to be sticking me back there in like economy for that long flight, are you?" And I'm like, "Maybe."
Maybe. That's so funny because I had just sent out a proposal for a Tuscany wedding like a few weeks
When's that
before
one?
that. Hmm?
When would that one be?
Next September. Yeah, so like
Okay.
a full year out.
Okay. Yeah. This one would be
Actually need
like
to follow up.
end of April. We'll see.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That would like really round out the destination portfolio.
It really would. It would.
I would turn mine into more of like a vacation. My husband is like not involved in my business whatsoever. He's more of like a cheerleader from afar. And I think I would like let him learn how to do the drone so that I would have an excuse to like bring him and he would be like useful.
Yeah.
Not that he wouldn't be useful, but like, I mean, on the wedding day.
That's funny. Would you get him like he has to get a suit? He has to do the whole thing?
Oh, he's got a suit. He's
Okay.
suited up, ready to go.
Nice. Awesome. Love
Yeah.
it.
Okay,
Well,
guys, if you're
cool.
still hanging out, we appreciate you. If you guys are enjoying the podcast, would you rate and review it
We
as
would
a little
love
favor
that.
to us?
We would be so grateful.
Yes, and maybe we will read your review in a future episode. I think we have not read our most recent review, so I'm going to pull that up right now so that they
Oh, I want to hear it.
get a little shout out. The username is 122KRW, so I'm so sorry you're not getting the proper shout out that you deserve. Listening to this podcast has really shown me how much I limit myself to branch out of my very small market. Taylor and Kelley are easy to listen to and have some great episodes. So thank you.
Thanks, friend. Awesome. Yeah, so rate and review it. We'll read yours off. I love doing that. We haven't done that in a while. We were on a good roll of doing that like every episode, but I love it.
Yeah. No, honestly, it helps push the show up in the rankings. And so people are more likely to organically like stumble across it. So if you think it would be helpful for other people to hear, you think we have some good tidbits, like that just helps the wedding community kind of like find the podcast all on their own. So that's the helpfulness of leaving 5 stars if you feel like it deserved it. Okay, I think that we just like don't want this podcast episode to end for whatever reason. So I'm going to sign us off. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll see you again next week.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for joining us in today's conversation. Please help us reach more filmmakers and photographers like you by taking a screenshot and sharing it to social media. And don't forget to tag us at The Level Up Co.
And join us again next week, same time, same place, as we continue to level up the industry together.